All right, so we're here. We're in Hawaii now. This is the first heiau that I've seen. A heiau is a temple, an ancient Hawaiian temple. And this is the Ulupo heiau. It's sacred ground, so we have to be really respectful. And what brought me here is that tradition says that this heiau was built by the Menehune. That the Menehune were the ones who actually built this whole temple. What we see let's go around to the base of it. I think we can walk down to the base. So I'm here looking for the Menehune, these legendary little people of Hawaiian folklore. And a lot of folks say that the Menehune were actual human beings, that it was a group of humans who lived here thousands of years ago before the Polynesians got here to the islands. They say the Menehune lived here, and they were significantly shorter than Polynesian people and were eventually colonized by the Polynesians. And so the stories you hear about Menehune nowadays that have a lot of supernatural elements, they're kind of described as these magical figures. A lot of people say that that's a folk memory of the actual human beings who used to live here and who were used for labor to construct temples like this. So let's walk on down this side pathway. This looks like it's open, so we can walk down. Important thing, anybody coming to Hawaii, it's very important to respect the heiau. These are ancient sacred sites, so it's important not to walk on top of them. You never want to climb on it. You don't treat it like a jungle gym. It's important to be respectful. So we'll walk around here to the bottom. So now we're looking up at the corner of the heiau, and somewhere on this structure there's a pathway going over it that they say is the Menehune pathway. And these Menehune pathways, you hear about these a lot in Hawaii, and they're places to be respected. You don't walk across them. They might even be similar to ley lines that you hear about in a lot of parts of the world, these lines that connect ancient sacred sites. And there are still stories about people seeing visions of figures walking along these pathways too. And at nighttime, the tradition says Menehune only come out at night. And so you think if this was a race of ancient people who were then conquered, there would have been a time where their territory would be more and more limited. They'd be pushed into the mountains, kind of living away from the newcomers and living up in the caves in the mountains and coming out at night to do their work. So that could be why that story exists. It's amazing to be here though, like standing at the foot of a structure that they say the Menehune actually built. For someone like me, I've been researching these little people stories for many years, for the last half of my life. So to actually be here by what used to be this ancient structure, this is just the foundation of it. You can imagine on top of this was terraced. It was much more structured, and then on top of it was the flat sacred terrace where the priests would do the rituals, and there were structures, wooden buildings up top there, and the altar. But somewhere along here is the Menehune pathway. But so here we are at this heiau said to have been built by the Menehune.